Democracy 2014, we're asking candidates here in Maryland questions so you can be best informed, and we're joined right now by Lieutenant Governor candidate Reverend Delman Coates, running alongside Delegate Heather Mazier. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Some opening remarks if you'd like.
We live in a great state, but the truth is we can do so much better. There's a sense all across the state of Maryland that Annapolis has drifted away from the people, and too many of our elected officials lack the sense of urgency to address our toughest challenges. Heather Mazier is the candidate for governor who has the sense of urgency to address our greatest challenges. She will bring people together to address the issues that are confronting us each and every day. She has the best and, quite frankly, the only real vision to solve our greatest challenges. It's a part of her DNA, having been raised on the picket lines in a union family fighting for fair wages. It's what has driven her in Annapolis, fighting to provide health coverage to thousands of uninsured Marylanders, to create jobs and fighting to protect our environment. And it's really fundamentally the core of our plan for the state of Maryland. We will adopt a living wage for all workers in Maryland, and not just a living wage. We will rebuild the middle class by providing a tax cut to 90% of Maryland families and seniors, and for all small businesses. And we'll create a truly universal pre-K and invest in child care and after-school programs so that we can close the achievement gap in our state. And finally, we will make all communities safe by being smart on crime and not just tough on crime. Heather Mazier is talking about a broad vision for the state of Maryland, and she's proposing specific solutions and ideas to accomplish that vision. She will bring that sense of urgency back to the state of Maryland. She'll bring people together to get things done, and she'll put people ahead of politics to solve our greatest problems.
All right, we have 3 questions for you right now. The first involves the Bay. So important to many Marylanders in here. As Lieutenant Governor, what would you do to continue cleaning the Bay while still keeping it open to tourism, fishing, and boating? Sure.
Well, the Chesapeake Bay is our greatest natural resource, and while its health is improving, there's still a lot more work that can be done. The Bay is so polluted that there are even some doctors who advise pregnant women not to swim in the Bay. And I believe we can do better. And Heather and I have concrete ideas for helping to keep the Bay clean. The first thing that we believe we need to do is to clean our waterways and our streams. We need to boost our oyster growth and population in the Bay. We must conserve our bayside land, and we must cut down on chicken waste pollution in the Bay. And the only way that can happen is with a true environmentalist governor and lieutenant governor in the state of Maryland. That's really the option that voters have with the Mazier-Coates administration. Heather Mazier was the leading voice in helping to protect Maryland from unregulated gas drilling. She's advocated alternative sources of energy in our state, and she's been a leading voice against climate change by making sure she said no to the Cove Point project. That's why the Sierra Club trusts us to protect the Bay and to keep the Bay clean and to protect Maryland's environment by giving us their endorsement.
All right, we have about 1 minute left right now. Our second question involves unemployment here in Maryland. Back in March, it dropped below 6%, well below the national average. Sure. As Lieutenant Governor, how do you keep that trend going?
Well, job creation will be the #1 priority in our administration. Our plan calls for making sure that we do at least 3 things. The first thing that we want to do in order to create a comprehensive economic growth in our state is we want to provide a tax cut for 90% of Maryland families and seniors. If more middle income families are able to earn more and be taxed less, they'll reinvest that in our economy. Secondly, we want to make sure that small businesses are provided tax relief by closing a few corporate loopholes in our state, and that will then in turn be passed along to our small businesses because we believe they are the true job creators in our state. And thirdly, we'll put Marylanders back to work by rebuilding our roads and our schools, and we'll turn our minimum wage into a living wage for all Marylanders.
All right, he is Reverend Delman Coates, running mate for Lieutenant Governor alongside Delegate Heather Mazier. She is running on the Democratic ticket for governor. If you'd like to see this interview and all interviews in the race, go to abc2news.com. Click on the News tab, then click on the Political tab.